Hi, I'm Matt Hernandez, and welcome to Let's Chat Books. I'll get straight to the topic at hand. I'd like to talk a little bit about how using topics from art, specifically written text, but not just. My son is next to me. My wife is napping. I just came back from lunch. I told some of these thoughts to somebody else. Now my son is right next to me, and now he just asked me, why am I talking to myself? I don't know. If you have a 3-year-old, are all 3-year-olds like this? But then as I spoke about the previous English corners that he had gone to, my experience with some of them, I told him why I choose to use texts. And so I've said a little bit about this before, but I'm going to make a slightly different point than in my two previous vlog-ish videos. Is that if you use texts, we can discuss things with less animosity towards each other. And what I mean by that is that this concept that I'm going to say, it does break down after a point. Such a cute boy. Is that yes, at some point, if you are reading something politics or politics adjacent, like history or economics, or if you're talking about something religious, using some kind of religious text or adjacent to religious text, at some point this concept will break down. But if we keep a topic centered on, such as this book here, You Are What You Love, I made a book review video of it. I'm sure you did not watch it because I've only had 4 people watch it. I'm sure nobody watched it all from the beginning to end. I would beg you to watch it if that would not seem like the most pathetic move ever. But if we use this text here, You Are What You Love, it discusses what do we actually worship. There are concepts of this that are not just within religious text, but this book keeps it quite religious. If you watch James K.A. Smith's speeches on this book, it actually keeps it much more secular than what you would find in this book. Now, what is significant about that is that if we talk about the concepts of this book and we select a chapter in this book, preferably one of the first half of the chapters before the book is very overtly religious, then we could we could have a disagreement and keep it about the book. Whereas if we purely talk about these things without some text, then we're just disagreeing with each other. So I believe art and books kind of do this. Now, I don't know. It's quite important. Now, if I use this book here, When I First Held You. Now, if I was just to talk about my experience as a father, I don't know. I don't know how profound they would be. I don't know if I can give out any kind of fatherly advice. I mean, I always seem to be needed to ask others for advice and stuff like that. I mean, I always seem to need to. But then if we use a text like this and we use some points in here that we can see where we can draw on to try to relate to, we can see, such as with one video I will do later on tonight, I hope. I tried to do it last night, is about is about becoming more religious after a big event happens, a dangerous event happens within the family. And then if we find disagreement with that, if I say I became more religious from having kids, but then we use an essay in here, we can disagree through the essay than rather with each other. What else? Same concept here a little bit, right? I like traditional martial arts. I've always have an evolving opinion about the types of martial arts and the practicality of sport and fitness and self-defense and stuff like that, but I like the traditional martial arts. If I use this book and I say I learned this form and a few of the forms of this style while in high school, then I could use that, or I could use this book to demonstrate concepts of it. But in a sense, I've sort of internalized some of the fundamental biomechanics, as they call it, of traditional martial arts, but I no longer know traditional martial arts exactly. I don't. But then something like this could become a starting point, or like if it somehow came up and someone's like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, maybe if I saw a few pages of something, then I can bring it and we could discuss it. Then I could try to guide the conversation to agree or disagree based on this. I mean, that can go with any book. Okay, you look at this book here. A lot of this book, to me, to summarize it, I may be oversimplifying it. William Glasser's choice theory. In a sense, it's like you can choose to not dwell on the past. You can choose to do what you need to do in life rather than dwell and be taken over by the things that made us who we are in whatever negative ways, depression or something like that. And I disagree with a lot of the book. When you read it in isolation, it seems true. But generally speaking, something horrible happens to somebody, maybe repeatedly, maybe regularly in one's life growing up. It does affect us later on in life. At least I believe so. Now, these next few books I have not read, but this book, I bought it a few weeks back. I've not read this, and I swear I'm not trying to do a book haul video. At this moment, at least, I do not know if I'll change my mind. I'm not trying to do a book haul video. I'm just trying to grab random books to try to make a point about how art and stuff allows us to disagree, but disagree less without animosity, because we'll use that text. So please don't think I'm trying to do some kind of book haul video. I'm not trying to do one of those, okay? I really am not. But I've not read this book. I just bought it a few weeks ago. But this book, apparently, from what it claims, I've not read it. I mean, I don't know. But it says former CIA officers teach you how to spy deception. Spy the Lie, written by Philip Houston, Michael Floyd, and Susan Cardenesio? Carnicetto, I guess. Is that Italian? I don't know. With Don Tennant. So if we read this book, maybe we found a chapter that encapsulates a lot of the points in this book, and we discuss if we believe that this book is true or not. And maybe one person just disagrees, but you keep it all amongst the book, and you use the art to spur the conversation. You use... Yeah? Uh-huh. Where am I going to face you? I'm going to face you and talk here? I got to look here. This thingy right there, you know? That thing right there. So, to myself, no. Okay, so we use a text like this. And then if I just tell you, well, you need to do this to spot liars. Well, somebody might not believe me, and that could be for a variety of things. That's another topic in a sense. But if I use this, and we discuss this, we could say whether or not we trust this, whether it's the stats, whether it's anecdotes and personal experience, or training, whatever it might be, then we use this book to guide along with that. Have a wonderful day, and see you later. Thanks. Bye.